Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the new Endgame permanent mode that we're getting in 1.3 patch called Simulated Battle Trial. This is an amazing new permanent Endgame mode with a tower system that will go up to 85 floors. In this video we'll go over all the details we know so far about this game mode. This mode seems to be very fun and very good with a potential of expansion and perhaps even infinity floors. Well, we'll have to see about that, but let's go over all the info we know so far. So let's begin first with information of the tower itself. Basically, we'll be able to use our own agents and bang boos to fight and go through the tower with the goal of reaching higher floors and obtaining rewards such as gems, resources, and so on. However, in this tower system, your characters and bang boo will have fixed HP when they enter tower, and also your characters will retain the amount of HP they had from the previous battle when you go to the next battle. It is very important that you do not take unnecessary damage, because as we go through higher floors, the enemies are only going to get stronger, and also these enemies will have special skills that will deal much higher damage. That means we're going to have specialized versions of usual enemies that we fight perhaps in shield defense and so on. In this mode, they will do different things such as more damage, extra effects, and so on. This is very interesting stuff. I could also see these type of enemies also being added in resettable content such as shield defense in the future. There's also a honor badge reward type of system. By reaching certain floors and defeating certain enemies, you can obtain these badges to the corresponding floors, and these badges you'll be able to display them in your profile. So let's quickly go a bit over more in detail about these honor badges. You start with initial battle bronze badge, and when you complete floor 5 you're gonna get the silver medal. Floor 10 it's going to be gold. Floor 15 diamond. Floor 20 it's going to be a battle master badge. Floor 25 it's going to be undefeated legend badge. So for the badges themselves, you will have up to 25 floors, and after completing floor 25 you will have a new mode called Carnival Challenge unlocked, and each time this challenge is completed the opponents will become stronger. Also, the finalization rewards will be determined by the highest floor reached. There will be no rewards for floors that have not been challenged. You will start at floor 25 and then you have to push all the way as high as you can without being defeated. If you are, you have to start from scratch floor 25 again. This is quite a challenge and this will be very fun. Also, because this is a permanent endgame mode, the difficulty can be quite high because there is always time for you to clear this. So this could be a process that's going to take quite some time for us to clear it. And even when we do clear it, you might be wondering, is there anything more to do with this mode, or we never go back to it? Fortunately, there seems to be something more. There seems to be an achievement for a floor 100 clear. At the moment, there are no floor 86 to 100, but this would imply they might add extra floors in the future. So for example, in 1.4, we could have an expansion to this tower with newer floors. So we'll always have some new floors and stuff to do. So very likely we'll get more of these new floors levels within each patch. Maybe not regularly every patch, but definitely the expansion seems very likely to happen. There could also be potentially a infinite mode or something like that. It's not entirely impossible, but I doubt such modes would give you rewards. But if it does exist, it could be interesting. But personally, I think they will go with the route from floor 1 to 25 and then 25 to 85 and then an expansion in the near future from 86 to 100 and so on onwards. So overall with this mode, even as a permanent mode, it's very good because they will keep adding very likely new extra floors in the future, perhaps every patch and so on. That's pretty cool. Also, we do know some extra effects of what these enemies are doing, and these mechanics might also end up being in regular modes like shield defense and so on. So it's definitely something that you should prepare for. There will be a new type of buff that enemies can receive, which is called Demonized. This buff can be applied on normal enemies, elite enemies, mini bosses, and powerful bosses as well. You'll also have the ability to remove this buff from enemies by using appropriate strategies. What they mean by appropriate strategies could either mean that you need specific type of characters, such as their type of damage, perhaps a disorder, or they have to get stunned, or some specific type of requirements, multiple different type of teams, characters, combinations in your account to tackle with this issue. And now you might be wondering, what is this demonized buff itself on enemies? Well, it's quite simple. Enemies have a 25% damage reduction and 50% damage bonus. So these enemies will take less damage and do more damage to you, unless if you use some quote-unquote appropriate strategy, which is probably XY type of character team combination or mechanics, to be able to remove this buff so you can actually do full damage to them, and also that you're not taking as much damage. And also, they used to have a daze reduction too, but that seems to be removed now, but it's something they could add back into the game. And this type of mechanic itself, just existing in the game, it's a sign that tells you how the future of this game will go on. Be more prepared with your account, especially if you care about endgame content max rewards, because definitely this type of mechanic will most likely end up also in other repeatable, resettable endgame modes, and definitely you will not want to have this on enemies, because then your clears will be obviously slower. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if this type of buff is also going to be changed or altered in the future, where enemies will also have daze reduction and like higher anomaly build-up while the buff is up, and then you're forced to remove it in one way or another. But it's definitely good to know and be prepared about this stuff. I highly recommend you invest vertical in your roster so you have a decent good coverage for all these type of gimmicks and mechanics, and then you should have an easy time if you do care about maxing endgame content rewards. So yeah, with this mode itself, I'm very excited because Zenless Zone Zero is definitely cooking with quite a lot of endgame content. They're definitely focused on combat within this game, and that's exactly what we're getting pretty much every patch as of right now. At this point, I'm not even surprised if 1.4 is already gonna have that floor expansion from 86 to 100 floors or something else entirely. Nevertheless, it's very cool. Personally, I would also like to see an infinity mode, but it's very unlikely they will actually implement that. I see it more realistic that we'll just keep adding more and more floors throughout the patches. It's also possible that this type of game mode could also end up as a resettable endgame content along with ambush point and shield defense, just as a heads up. And like I said, I'll recommend you spread your roster with a couple of teams so you can have good coverage for this type of modes and stuff, and then you should be good. So yeah, I guess this is it pretty much for this video. If you have any questions or you would like to add something about this stuff, feel free to write it down in the comments, but do note that floor 100 doesn't seem to be available within 1.3 patch. Feel free to check this tweet on the screen. I also provide the link of the entire conversation. So apparently floor 8600 is not available in 1.3, even if there is an achievement for floor 100. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I also do cover Honkai Star Rail besides Zenless Zone Zero on this channel. More of both to come. And yeah, I guess this is it. I wish you a wonderful day and see you in the next video.